Will this ridiculous, over-the-top rumor and story ever freaking die out? The whole Diddy had a Crip shoot Tupac in Las Vegas. Remember that ridiculous story? Well, it resurfaced again. I'm going to read to you what TMZ had to say about it. TMZ said, and I quote, "News stories are circulating that Diddy was out to kill Tupac Shakur. Well, a similar story was published in a big newspaper years ago, and the paper was forced to eat crow and retract it. There's a film Netflix is about to release based on a book with the premise: Diddy hired hitmen to murder Tupac in 1996. The author of the book, a retired LAPD investigator, claims Diddy hired a Crip to kill Tupac for $1 million. Turns out the LA Times published a similar story in 2008, claiming 2 years before the murder, Diddy's boys shot Tupac 5 times in New York City outside a recording studio, but failed to kill him. The paper relies on FBI files and Diddy's own people as sources. The Times published a major retraction saying, quote, "The Times has since concluded that the FBI reports were fabricated and that some of the other sources relied on, including a, quote, confidential source cited in the FBI reports, do not support major elements of the story." Did you guys peep that? The Times in their retraction story said that that the FBI reports were fabricated. That's deep. Anyway, back to what TMZ wrote. They said, and I quote, "The paper concluded it believed the story was no longer credible. As for the documentary, which purports to chronicle the 1996 murder in Vegas, the author relies on a confession from a Crip gang member who said Diddy hired him to kill Tupac. Diddy has denied involvement in both the 1994 shooting and the 1996 murder." All right. So basically, we can't just believe everything that we hear, guys. I mean, anytime that the newspaper is saying, hey, the FBI, whatever information that they have is false, do you know something fishy is going on? Sometime there's these people who basically work behind the scenes who were trying to, well, basically back in the day, they were trying to destroy rap. Right now, they haven't really been messing with rappers too much, if you've noticed. And that's because they feel that rap has been defeated because the South is putting out a lot of trash music that's an abortion to my ears. And they feel as if basically the South has basically ruined rap so much that they don't have to attack rap the way that they used to. You know, they feel like the war has pretty much been won. And anything now at this point would basically be overkill. Because if you don't think that there was a conspiracy against hip hop as a whole, I don't know what to tell you. Because, yeah, there were people who actually conspired to try to put an end to hip hop. They were like, look at these young black guys making all this damn money, getting all these women. Can't stand this shit. We need to put a stopping to this. What if it gets out of hand? What if they make a song that stops a war someday or something? Basically, the war machine went after hip hop, but that's a whole nother story for a whole nother video. But I did want to say this though. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I'm going to have to wait to another video to talk about that. There's actually another article about the story from the San Jose Mercury News, which is mercurynews.com. And the information was compiled by a lady named Martha Ross. I don't think she's related to Rick Ross, so don't ask her. I'm going to read to you what she wrote for Mercury News, because she's dropping names. She wrote, and I quote, "Music mogul Sean Diddy Combs paid $1 million to hire a Crips gang member to orchestrate the killing of rapper Tupac Shakur and his manager, Marion Suge Knight, according to a claim made by a retired LAPD department detective. Greg Kading once led a special LAPD task force that investigated the decades-old shootings of Shakur and Biggie Smalls, also known as the Notorious B.I.G. Smalls was a close friend of Diddy's, who was supposedly killed in retaliation for Shakur's death, the Huffington Post is reporting. Kading's claims come in the documentary Murder Rap. So that's the name of the documentary. I'm going to have to watch this one. Murder Rap, which originally premiered in 2015 and is based on Cadding's 2011 book of the same name. It's currently available on iTunes and will be available on Netflix in the spring. Shakur died September 13th, 1996, following a drive-by shooting in Las Vegas, and Smalls was gunned down in Los Angeles 6 months later in March 1997. The killings were seen as the violent outcome of a rivalry between artists and fans of the West Coast and East Coast hip-hop scenes of the 1990s. Public fascination over the still unsolved cases has endured ever since. Pause the story right there. This whole thing about the East Coast, West Coast beef thing, just remember this. Tupac was from New York. I think his first rap alias was MC New York. Also, the Outlaws who were on the song Hit 'Em Up were from New Jersey, and even mentioned New Jersey in the diss record. It's funny when they always talk about East Coast, West Coast when all these dudes were from the East Coast. For the record, facts. Anyway, the story goes on to say, based on his 3 years working the cases, Kading claims that Combs, formerly known as Puff Daddy, hired gang member Dwayne Keith D. Davis to kill both Shakur and Knight. Davis' nephew, Orlando Baby Lane Anderson, actually did the shooting. Kading said, only Shakur was fatally wounded. In retaliation, Knight hired Blood gang member Wardell Poochie Faust to kill Smalls for $13,000, Kading said. Pause the story right there. So, in order to get Tupac killed, it cost Diddy $1 million, and it cost Suge only $13,000 to get Biggie Smalls shot by this Wardell Poochie Faust guy. That's very interesting. Man, talk about a discount. Through the investigation, Kading said he managed to secure a verifiable confession from Keith D about the events that led to Shakur's murder. Keith D faced serious charges for another crime. Quote, if his intention was to just get away with it, so to speak, Kading told the Huffington Post, quote, it would have been very easy for him to not include all the details that he did, end quote. As we all know, the investigation never led to anyone being arrested or charged in either killing. Kading said that's because the department wasn't so much interested in prosecuting either of these cases as it was debunking a conspiracy theory put forward by Biggie Smalls' mother and a federal wrongful death lawsuit that the department was trying to cover up an officer's involvement in her son's murder. Once Kading's team cleared the department of any involvement, the investigation into both murders was dropped, he said. Another reason the department didn't want to pursue formal charges was because of Combs' celebrity status and because 2 of the suspects died of unrelated causes, Kading said. Kading also acknowledged he was removed from the task force due to an unrelated internal affairs investigation that eventually cleared him of any wrongdoing but boosted his image as a, quote, rogue cop. When contacted by the Huffington Post, Los Angeles police declined to comment. Combs could not be reached for the story, and his manager and publicist did not return multiple messages asking for comment. Martha Ross provides celebrity commentary for the Bay Area News Group. You can follow her at twitter.com, Martha J. Ross. So there you go, guys. There you go. That's the story. I just wanted to say this, man. This is extremely interesting. I mean, they're mentioning Biggie's mother in the story. They're mentioning the names of the alleged killers. There's a crazy documentary out there that I have to see. I don't know about you guys, but man, this is just insane. What do you guys think? Are you going to check out the documentary, Murder Rap? If you need any more information, it's all available on my blog. All you got to do is click the link below. And there's links to both of these stories that I just read to you guys. And just for the record, as far as Diddy's involvement is concerned, Diddy is somewhere probably on a private plane with French Montana and a bunch of other people sipping Ciroc and minding his business. Okay? I don't personally think Diddy had any involvement in this whole fiasco. But hey, it's an interesting story. Now, I would love to see a movie made about this, with this as a storyline, the stuff from his book and this documentary. as if it was fact. That would be interesting. Where's my camera? Let me know what you think about it all below. Be sure to subscribe to the Meat Magazine YouTube channels. Visit meatmagazine.blogspot.com. Follow me on Twitter at Meat Magazine.